Hi, and welcome to TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris, your moderator. This is show number 190. It's 12/7/2025, and the opinions of our guests are that of their own and not that of Targeted West or DJ Chris. We're a peaceful work group that gets together every week to discuss the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and a lot of these technologies are approved by people in Washington, D.C., that don't even know they approved it, and it's all hidden in black budgets. And of course, we have somebody here tonight from Targeted Justice, Ana Toledo, to talk about that. And she's going to talk about her plans now that she's in Washington, D.C., and what she's planning on doing about exposing this program to these people in power. I don't think they know really what's going on. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ana Toledo. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. It is always an honor to be here.
Thank you. So you made a big move recently. That must be a lot of stress.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing, it's like pulling a Band-Aid. You cannot think too much about it because otherwise you don't do it. And so after Targeted Action 2025, when we went and knocked on the doors of all these people in Congress, I realized that I have to be here if I want, like I say, analog Ana, I have to be here because when I am in Texas, the electronic interference, the phone call interference, they do it here too. But here I can go knock on their door, and I will continue knocking on their door, and will continue knocking on their door, or will do like it happened to me 3 weeks ago, that I bumped into a really important member of Congress in the hallway, in the elevator, and I just talked to him, and fortunately we had a meeting this week with him. His two aides were there, but with him, and so that's what. It's not just the people in Congress, but also in other places where I intend to be just knocking on the door and saying, I want to talk to someone here. Because, as you know, these criminals, they like to call and say she's a criminal, she's a terrorist, or whatever. I don't know what lie they say. So that's why I decided to come here, because once they meet you, they cannot buy the story that you're a criminal.
That's right, because criminals hide in the background, and people that are real like you and others come to the light and go and meet them in person.
Yeah, one of this gentleman that we met with, I told him, I said, they're going to call you and tell you I'm a criminal. And he said, no, I've seen your passion. I've looked at you in the eye. I know you're not a criminal. And that is why I'm here. Because there is a huge community that has been defamed, that has been marginalized, whose lives have been obliterated in many cases. And these people don't know, like you say, they have no clue. Many of them do, but most of them don't. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, it's so compartmentalized, and this is a lot of black budget stuff that's deep, deep down into the system. And not even the president or his people know about it, so it's, kept a secret on purpose. And that's because if it were exposed like we're going to do, it would be going away. And that's what I'm hoping you'll help us do, is get it exposed to the right people and get the word out. And they will be able to maybe do something about it and put a law out.
Yeah, well, the point is that if, like, when we were here in September, one of the aides that met with us said, well, what if, the representative helps you? Well, how do we know we're not going to get targeted? Well, if it becomes, a consensus, and many people, like, for example, Ana Paulina Luna, She is proposing the elimination of the Patriot Act. Well, she has a lot of people, even from the other side, even Democrats, that are supporting her. And this is the kind of consensus that we need to accomplish. We need to penetrate that wall. And for those of you listening that are a constituent of Ana Paulina, I really need you to ask for a meeting for me. I have been to her office 3 times, and there seems to be the gatekeepers that are not allowing her to even look at, or her chief of staff to look at my letters and look at what I have left in her office. So if any of you is a constituent of hers, please write to me at annatj@proton.me. Do a contact form, a letter to her, and explain you are the head, the chair of the committee to expose government secrets. You need to meet with Ana Toledo because she has for you evidence of the biggest secret that is happening in the United States right now that needs to be exposed. Don't go into, don't go into the fantastical things that you and I know it's true, but these people are not ready for it, okay? We need to be very careful in the way we communicate. Try to use, Dominic's documentary, because we need to preserve our credibility.
I agree. So if someone were to contact their representative, they could tell you about it and make an appointment and have you go there. Would that be true?
Exactly. I am, my only day that I have a commitment, and if I have to pre-record, is Wednesdays that I do the gavel. But if I have to pre-record, I have no problem with that, because if they say, yeah, we'll meet you at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, I'll be there. But, there's people, for example, Tom Cotton. He is the chair of the Senate Select Intelligence Committee. That is the committee that was created with Frank Church, and it was never dissolved. It is supposed to oversee the criminality of the intelligence community. I have been to his office on 3 occasions. I don't know if he's a criminal, or I don't know if the gatekeepers are not giving him my letters. But I have not been able to secure the meeting. I'm going to continue insisting, and I'm going to use other tactics. But what I'm saying is, if we have, I know that Ken Stroud from Arkansas was trying to reach out to him. I don't know, he hasn't gotten back to me on that. But we need to be very proactive. It's like, I like to say, what did you do today to end your targeting? Well, one of the good things you can do is the following. You find out who your representatives and your senators are, particularly Kentucky. I need to speak to Rand Paul. I have been to his office many times, and this week I'm going again. So you need to write to him and say, the illegal surveillance on average Americans is off the charts, and you need to rein in on it. Ana Toledo is there. I cannot be there physically, but please meet with her, because she can speak on the redress petition that I have regarding the illegal surveillance I undergo. That's an example. So, we need to become active. We are a huge community. If everybody did something every day to shut these criminals down, we would have already shut them down. Do not be afraid that your targeting is getting worse. Guess what? It does for everybody. What would you rather, live an entire life targeted, or go through a period of maybe it gets worse, but it will contribute to shutting them down? What do you prefer? I know what I prefer.
Yeah, I know. Before I do this call, the V2K gets worse, but it's worth it, and I just tune them out.
Yeah, they're probably going to, when you have me on your call, they probably go harsher on you, right?
Yeah, they're not happy about it, especially that you're in D.C. All these contractors get their money from the government, so.
Yeah, well, I am a look, I have my list of it's because God puts into my head things, you have to go here, you have to go here. And so I have all these things going on, but I am absolutely certain that we will get our miracle. We will get our break, and do not let anybody tell you the contrary. Things are happening that I am not being told, but I know that things are happening because I can feel it. I can feel it that they're happening, and we're not going to stop. I'm here. I am very grateful to everybody that has supported my move here, because I came here, Chris. I came here just like crazy, like on a whim kind of thing. You know what I mean? I just packed my bags and left because I trusted God, because I knew that God would lead a path for me. It would pave the path, and so I didn't think of any obstacles, because I didn't even consider them. And in this kind of move, well, of course I found, little obstacles that could have been big, but God took care of them. And I'm here, and I found the place, and everything is good. For example, what I was telling you about the safety, I know that they did come in a couple of times because they damaged my blow dryer, and they damaged a couple of things. They damaged my light, my podcast light, and something else that I don't remember. But so now I took these measures, and now I think that it's very hard for them to come in without me not having the evidence that they came in and making a police report. So that's a huge win for me. And anyways, I take with me whatever I know that I don't want them to put their claws into the like USBs and stuff like that. But it's everything has been. I'm not saying it was seamless. No, it was harsh. It was hard, but also because I have never doubted for a single moment that this is God's mission. God put me here, and God will take care of me. Will not let anything bad happen to me, even though they're not happy that I'm here. Because, see, when I talk to people, they can see I'm not a criminal, like I was saying to you. They can feel my honesty and my passion. That's what that congressman said to me. No, I've seen your passion. Nobody can tell me otherwise. So that was really good. I just sent you the picture.
That's great. Have you been able to find places to eat and grocery stores and stuff to sustain yourself? I know you're a warrior, but you got to eat. Is it friendly in your neighborhood?
Yeah, I found a place, and the first couple of times was really perp free, but now they're there. But it's like it's inevitable. I have this big neon signs pointing at me wherever I go, because these criminals are, even church. I found my church, which I really like. They sent someone there, or probably more than one, and it's it's part of it. What I cannot let them is dissuade me from going, let's say, to this convenience store that I found just because I know they found me, because it's going to happen anywhere, and they know they can't touch me. They know they can't, they have to stay away from me. So it's for the most part, it's okay. I don't pay attention to the drone that is out there. I saw it, but I'm not obsessed with it, because I know that they were going to do that anyways. They did that in Texas anyway. So anywhere I go, they're going to be doing it. So, it's okay. It's okay. I shield as best I can, and I'm not afraid of them. They should be afraid of me. Very afraid. I'm not afraid of them at all.
That's good. Yeah, because you're fierce and you're not going to stop, because this is your time to shine.
I'm not stopping because the reason why I just decided this is it, I'm leaving, is because they were making us chase our tail. You have no idea the hours I spent writing emails, trying to contact people, and they just make us chase our tail just like that. Well, now it's coming to an end. Now people are seeing my face, they're hearing my name, and I'm going into these hearings. The Boasberg hearings are going to happen, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to just go shake hands and introduce myself. My name, thank God I'm not shy. I thought I was shy. No, I'm not. I just go up to people and introduce myself, and and I'm just gonna honey badger my way around this, swamp, because it is a swamp. And I sent you the picture. I met Juliet this weekend, and she's one of my heroes. She's an MK Ultra survivor. That's why when you brought up your guest, then that she's one of them too. And she's also here. She's in Maryland, and we met with her. And so we have a little community. I also have Mari. She's from Puerto Rico. She's also a TI from Puerto Rico. She's in Maryland. Miguel was here. He had to go back to California. He's our regional manager for Mexico, our country manager for Mexico. But he was here for a while, and he's like, if you need me back, I'll come back. He's a real trooper. This coming Saturday, we're having a meeting for the Maryland, Virginia, and DC people. I'm going to be announcing it in Targeted Justice newsletter. For those of you that are in this area, please come meet. Let's meet, because we need to have a support group.
So you'll get together with the group and go visit people that are our representatives. That's great. Or get together and brainstorm. And you have a group of people, you're even more powerful. But with you leading it, that's incredible. Tell us more.
Absolutely. One of the problems we have is that they don't want to leave the house because of the break-ins. So I just discovered one of the things. I have a back door there, and one of the ways that you can prevent the break-in is, aside from the security tape that I discovered. I don't know who was it that told me about it. I'm not sure. I think it was Jill. Yeah, Jill. I have all these mops and brooms, and then I take pictures against the door, and I take pictures of it. So if I come back and they're not exactly as I left them, well, there's my evidence. And that totally works, because that's the door where I think they were coming in through. And it's just a matter, you're lucky you have someone that can go out for you, or that can stay when you leave the house.
I am, yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, because people, they just get in, I don't know. They get in as they please. But anyways, yeah, I want to organize a group here. We had the first meeting with like 15 people. It was really nice. And so the second Saturday, the Houston meetings are not happening anymore. They're happening here with me. So it's this Saturday.
Okay, so you're moving the meeting to DC, and now you've got 15 people going. That's pretty darn good already.
I know. For our first meeting, we have to find a place. I'm going to see. We're probably going to do it in the library. Libraries here are really good and accommodating. So I think we're going to do it in a library. We did it last time in a coffee shop, but it turned out bad because one TI showed up and made angry the people. And, it's one of the things that I if I could only convince people is, we live a very difficult situation, so we should try to not make it more difficult for ourselves. And what I mean by that is let's not be difficult when we go to a place. Let's not cause unnecessary problems. And that's exactly what happened. So, but the meeting was amazing because it was 15 people and we were able to build a nice group. And we want to do things, but one of them replied, the problem is of the break-ins, We want to be able to go to places and do things, at least once every 2 weeks we could have some sort of activity, but that's the problem that we're having now, that many of them feel like they cannot leave the house, which, we need to really address. Christy Noem, and that's one of the projects that I have, is we need to address DHS and the financing of the gang stalking program and the illegal treaties that allow for the gang stalking abroad, financed by the United States. All of those treaties were entered into by DHS or FBI and were not ratified by the Senate as the Constitution demands. There is this obscure statute that they say allows for them. So that's one of the things that we're going to be exploring, because the people abroad, not for a second should think that we're leaving you behind. The focus right now is obviously on the American citizens, because we're dealing with American politicians that have constituents. But that does not mean that, I'm not living here until the weapons are shut down, whatever that takes. Even if it's
great. Well, you got somebody in Kentucky that's going to contact you on the call. So you got your Rand Paul perfect.
I need Rand Paul and Thomas Massey. For both of them, I have.
Okay.
For both of them, I have gone to their office and brought letters in person. So please make it. In the case of Rand Paul, say, she will bring you evidence for your Quiet Skies investigation that is priceless, because it has to do with the weaponization of the government against average Americans. Leave it at that. Don't go into the drones or the this or that. No, don't go into those things. Just put it basic. It's evidence about government weaponization against average Americans, not just federal employees like the ones you have been interviewing. And in the case of Massey, the same thing, except that you can add, she can bring you evidence of FBI criminality, because Thomas Massey is exposing the FBI criminals. And that's exactly what I need, because I think Patel has good intentions, but he has been taken for a ride for these. These are professional criminals at the FBI. And he doesn't, I think he's naive. That's my opinion. I don't think he's dishonest. I really think he's just innocent.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But you've got all the dedicated FBI agents and stuff out there that will probably be of help to us if they do the right thing. I'm sure there's a dark group of people that are against some U.S. citizens that deem us some type of terrorist in some type of level, and they put us on the list, TSDB. So that's one of the things that has to end too, something that they can help you with.
Well, what we're pushing for, and for those of you that read it in my post, in my Substack, is now that Senator Grassley has declassified the electronic communication that exposed the prohibited and restricted access files at the FBI, this is the moment to file your Privacy Act request, because they cannot say, we cannot confirm or deny, we didn't find anything. No, they have to look in the entire Sentinel, Guardian, eGuardian, National Crime Information Network, in all of the FBI databases, not just in the central record system, which is how they have been answering the Privacy Act request. And so I put it in the Targeted Justice website. You have a format which is really long, but today or yesterday, Targeted Justice published a shorter version, which is equally good. And we also published when they deny it to you, saying, oh, we looked in the central record system and we didn't find anything. Guess what? We put in there a tool for you, which is for you to do the dispute resolution. We are not going away, FBI. You are going to let us see our files pursuant to 5 U.S. Code 552A, which demands that you have a right to see all of your records within that agency. And we're not going away because now we know that there are hidden files that they are not looking into. So we need this to be a massive movement of the entire community. It doesn't cost you anything, nothing. Just put in a little effort. We did the work for you. We gave you the templates. Copy, paste, and if you want to hire Jill she's a professional editor, you can write to her at jilltj@proton.me, but please be patient and compassionate because she has a backlog. But this is really important. We cannot take the pressure off these people. We're going to go to court on this, I'm telling you. The thing is, we're still deciding how we're going to do it, if we're going to do it in one court or many courts. That's something that we're going to do, but we first need you to do the homework to get there.
Gotcha. So do you have a way to find out when the schedules are of these certain people you're trying to contact, and you know when they're off and away and all that? Do they disappear during the holidays for a few weeks, or are they going to be around?
Well, they disappeared for Thanksgiving week, and now they're going to be, I guess, until the third week of December. There are some hearings that I'm going to be going to in both Senate and the House, and also in the Capitol building. So I'm going to be undergoing a lot of cold weather, which I don't particularly like. I'm not fond of, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm going to be hopping from one building to the next. Fortunately, they have tunnels. So they're all connected through tunnels, and so even though it's a long walk, it's good because you don't have to freeze that much. So yeah, this coming week, there are a couple of hearings that I'm going to be going to. This past week, I met with one member of the Homeland Security Committee. I'm not going to disclose his name just because, but we brought the evidence of the civilians that are victims of Havana syndrome. And I am very thankful. I saw Napolitano around here. I am very thankful to the people that sent me their sworn statements, because I'm going to be knocking. I not only did I personally, and I said this is confidential information, medical information, so you have to treat it, as it is. But also, the sworn statements I'm going to bring to other senators that I know are very interested in without the medical records, that are interested, unless I get the meeting and then the permission. But the important thing is that once it's out that it's no longer just federal employees that have Havana syndrome, well, then the whole thing shifts, because we have Dr. Lambert, and that's another of the things that I have to do. I have we asked for a meeting at the NIH because Dr. Lambert made a petition to the NIH saying you need to issue guidance to doctors so that at a national level they can diagnose and treat Havana syndrome. And so that is one thing that we have pending with the NIH. And he also brought one to the CDC, but CDC is in Atlanta, so I don't have I don't have the option of driving there and knocking on their door as I do with the NIH and the FDA, which I'm going to be doing. Yeah.
That's incredible. It's all encompassing that you're doing incredible work. Anything else you'd like to add to the discussion? What plans you have for the new year with your work with getting the word out?
No, well, I'm just, it's very lonely here, but since I have so much work, I'm okay. I just keep on working every day, I just work and work and work, and I am very, very grateful to the support of those of you that you know who you are, that have given, including you, that have given me unconditional support, because this is a mission for all. Like I said before, we are a huge community. How is it possible we didn't have somebody in D.C. advocating for freedom from this slavery? So I'm just so happy that you all made it possible, those of you that have helped me and contributed to this mission, because there is a lot of uncertainty involved. This is on a whim, on trusting God 1,000%. I was like, God, you called me, you put me on this path, so I just know He's taking care of things, and He is. So I'm really grateful, and I do want to say, to the naysayers, because I encounter people that are truly bitter and unhappy and hopeless. It's like, you're not going to accomplish anything. Guess what? And I'm not going to repeat the story about my dad, but I lived in a household where the impossible was always attainable. It just took a little bit more time than the difficult things. I come from a home where no was not a final answer, where there was always a means to do things, where you can never, ever give up, and where there's no excuse. If you didn't accomplish it, you don't tell me that the dog ate your homework. And just like Charlie Kirk, somebody asked Charlie Kirk, he says, how do you get to meet these people? And he said something which is what my father would have said, which is, when you want to meet someone, you find a way. You do it. You just have to want it very much. And that's in the path that I am right now. I have a list of people that I want to meet with, and things that I want to accomplish. Probably in a year will come and go, and I'll be, sleeping in my bed, because I'm not, I don't go out. I don't go out here socially for many reasons. Most importantly, because I'm not here to party. I'm here to work. Second of all, because I have to keep myself safe, because even though the National Guard is out and everything, you know, and all the TIs know that, something can happen, an accident or whatever, and it was an accident. No, I cannot put myself in that position, particularly with the cold weather. So I just stay in, work, go out to work, come back, and I'm happy. One of the things that, God is just so perfect. God is just so amazingly perfect. I lived in Puerto Rico through the pandemic, and the governor of the island kept us 9 months, decent, honest people, locked in. And during that time, I did a lot of research and writing, and I got in more trouble than I was already with the criminals, the corrupt oligarchs in Puerto Rico, because I was uncovering a lot of things. But those 9 months prepared me for working hard and just putting in the hours and working and working and working until there's a breakthrough. And that's what I'm doing here.
It's incredible. Have you been able to get direct phone numbers of people that you can contact to get through to them through Congress, through the Senate, and through the House? Are you able to get directly to them also and be able to make appointments, or are they hard to get a hold of?
No, yeah, I've had really great moments of being able to talk to really important people in the very short time that I'm here, in the places where I want to get into. And I also have a list of, there's someone that is providing me with a lot of contact information that I'm, I can't reveal it, but she gives me a lot. There's a lot of good people, there are people that are not targeted that are helping me because they don't want this to continue. So, and it's well-connected people, So that is happening. And I think a lot of them are happy that I'm here doing this because I can, when I have 2 minutes to explain the entire program, I have a 1-minute version, a 3-minute version, a 10-minute version, you know what I mean? I know exactly what to say for the amount of time I have. And I think that there's a lot of people that are not targeted that are helping me in this endeavor behind the scenes.
That's absolutely incredible. Are you ready to take questions from the audience?
Sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and change modes. Hi, you're live with Ana Toledo. Come on and ask your questions to Ann directly.
Ana, this is Deb K. How are you doing?
Hi, Deb. Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. They cranked it up. So last night I got my face burnt really bad while I was on Derek's call talking about shielding.
Yeah, well, I get that too, but you know what? Don't give them the pleasure. Don't give them the pleasure of, I see the burn and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to give them the pleasure of knowing it even bothers me, because the more you give them that pleasure, the more they do it. So it's like,
well, the more you do for us, I know they're targeting you bad. I know they are. They've got to be. But I was wondering if you have, if you think that the reset is going to stop this. The reset, because I heard that if we have a reset like we did in the year of 2000, they're going to do another one. And I heard that when they do that reset, all this is going to stop.
Well, I don't know what a reset is.
It's a worldwide reset of everything, of the power, everything.
Well, listen, you know what? If good things come along the way, fine. But I'm not counting on anybody doing, you know what I mean? I'm not counting on that. I'm just making them uncomfortable with the reality that there are hundreds of thousands of Americans victims of government weaponization that are not being listened to, and that they are not court-martialing Chan Salzman. Probably Pete Heck says his security clearance is below Salzman at the Space Force. That's he doesn't, the Lighthouse tells me he probably doesn't even know what Salzman is doing because his security clearance is not a level 35. So that's what we're here for, to push for that. Whatever they do, if it comes, the more the merrier. I'm only concerned, and it's the same, like, for example, there are so many horrific things happening in the world right now, but I am only focused on shutting down the weapons and shutting down this program. I cannot dilute myself into advocating for this or advocating for that or the other. No, I am laser focused on shutting down these weapons and shutting down the gang stalking, which affects the lives of so many. So that's, I cannot. And any time I look at the news, I read the news thinking, how is this good for us? That's how I read the news. How can I take advantage of this to shut down the program? And I invite you to do the same, because reach out. Like right now, today, in the Gateway Pundit, there was a lady that this person, she rents Airbnb, she lives off that. Well, a person came in there, she became a squatter, and that's exactly what my tenant did in my house and deprived me of my income. I went hungry. And so this lady in DC, and so I know that this lady is targeted. I just know it, because the reason why the court is not, it's her property, and the court it's a taking, it's depriving her of her property. The only plausible explanation is that she's targeted. I'm going to write to her a letter, to her attorney, because I am absolutely certain she's targeted. And the judge has been mind controlled to adjudicate against her rights. And so that happens, across the board with so many things that are happening. We just have to keep persisting.
Thank you. Next question for Ana Toledo. Come on in. Next question for Ana Toledo. Come on up.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Okay, I wanted to know, permission from Ana. News Nation has a remarkable women's contest, and I wanted permission to enter Ana into that.
I'm honored. I would love that. I would and not for my personal benefit, but because anything that brings attention to me brings attention to our plight. That is why I would very much welcome it, and that's why, I would welcome getting into shows, because attention, a microphone in front of me is a microphone speaking on behalf of all of you, We need to bring this to the forefront of the discussion.
I've tried to ask you a couple different ways, but haven't gotten through to you. And I didn't want to do it without your awareness of it, but there's a Nashville trip that's paid for, media spotlight, monetary donation, and I think there's 125 winners, and there is money toward your nonprofit organization. So I will go ahead and
awesome.
Do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for what you do and for the phone call. DJ Chris and Ana and all the listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What a great connection. Listen to that. Next question in line for Ana Toledo. Come on in.
There's some people in the chat that have questions. They don't want to talk loud because they got family around them. Can you read it off, or do you want me to?
Oh, I see there's one. Let me see. Question. Let me go in the beginning. It says, if I've had meetings, I already answered that. I had a meeting, and I'm not talking about targeting. As I have said, there are two things that is, it's three things actually. It's Havana syndrome, government weaponization, and illegal surveillance. Okay? That is where that's what my pitch is. I don't go into, they followed me into the store, or I have a drone above me, or they have the airplanes, because, look, amongst us, we understand that's genuine, but for people that are normies, they think it's not plausible, okay? We need to speak about the things that are right now being discussed at a national level, like government weaponization, like illegal surveillance, and like Havana syndrome. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, thank you. Next question in line for Ana Toledo. Come on in.
Yes, I have something to say. This is Charlie. You were talking about, excuse me, you were talking about the break-ins. Now, my residence has been broken into, I can't even tell you how many times. And I'm just, even when I've walked away from like 10 or 15 feet, they're broken in.
Yes.
I believe they have a cloaking device that makes them invisible to the naked eye. I don't know if you believe that or not.
I do, but listen, before you continue, let me just tell you something.
Okay.
There are things we can do something about. And then there are things we cannot control. So we can do as much as possible as we can within our limitations. But these people have tactics and technologies that are beyond our reach. So my advice to you is, for example, I screwed my windows. I have a little alarm. I have the, like the brooms and the things, and inside you can do your inside doors, you can put cables and strings and take pictures of it. And if any of that is open, well, you have evidence. The HASP is it's a really, really good mechanism, which is you put, I know it looks ugly, and if you live in an apartment building, you cannot do it. But you put a padlock HASP, the one that has the hinges covered, because if the hinges are open, they can take out the screws. And then you put the padlock, and then you put the security tape around it. And that, one of my dear friends had that happen. The criminals came in, took the tape out. She had the picture. She was able to call the police. And I think it has practically stopped the break-ins. So what I'm trying to say is there are things we cannot control, and then there are things we can. Let's work on those that we can to secure your place.
Okay, but let me continue. I have done that in the past. I've put the security tape around the lock to keep them out of my refrigerator. They've already bypassed that and duplicated the tape and so forth. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, I think I have my I got the place secured, and they haven't broken in a while. And I think the reason why, I don't know if you know of Onion Head Andrew. He suggests make a copper fan, put copper around the blade, or laterally around the blade, and it breaks up the nanotechnology in the air. And I think it voids the invisibility. That's what I think he was saying. And I've been doing that with the fan. And I think it's been keeping them out. Because I haven't had any evidence, because you know what they do, right? They send little evidence here and there that they've been here, right? They move things around. That's their little MO. And for a while now, I haven't seen any of that in my residence. And but go ahead.
Copper is very conductive, and for people like me that have a W band, a fan with copper wirings helps, like, conduct electricity to my W band. So that's why I would never consider something like that. But if it works for you, good. It will, whatever works, works, do it.
Well, do you have the copper fan? Do you have that? Or
no. No. I have. What I do is I have a little alarm and sensors, and also I just put tape, and I put stuff that if it gets moved, I have the evidence. I have pictures. And so, I'll file the police report.
All right. Well, yeah, I've never done that, right? I've never, just for something that moved, I never filed a police report. I need more than that to file the police report, In fact, I had to, my last residence in Tampa, I had some evidence They broke it into my garage, and I finally called the police. In Florida, you need the police to come out to your residence. You can't file a report online that they've broken in. So the police have to come out to your residence. But
well, that's even better because you can show the pictures of how it was and how you found it.
Yeah, that's what I did. In fact, my garage door, I had wired it, what they call safety wired, a certain part of the garage door opener, and I called the police and I showed them. I said, look, this is what it was before. I had a picture, and this is what it is now. The only way to do this, that somebody had to go up there and break the safety wire.
Well, I think that, like, if you have a garage door opener, that's an invitation for the criminals because they can replicate the frequency. The best thing is to do it manually and to have a hasp outside.
Yeah.
And to have the safety, like a safety bar inside. That's, but that's just me. Don't rely on your clicker because they're going to open it just like your car. If you rely on your car clicker, well, they're gonna get the frequency.
Yeah, of course. That's generally to say. I actually use tie down straps to tie down the garage door, so they wouldn't be able to open it up. But when you leave, you can't do that, right? You have to rely on the garage door.
No, we do what we do in Houston is we have a hasp with a padlock.
Yeah.
And put the tape around it in the garage door, and put the tape around it, and that works. That's because that's one of the ways. That's one of the easy ways for them to get in.
Yeah, in my apartment, I can't do that from the outside. I can't put a padlock on the outside. But my suggestion is, if you still think they're breaking in, you should maybe try to make it one of those copper fans. If you go on the Rumble.
No, I don't have that problem anymore.
Okay.
No, I cannot use copper fans because of what I told you. Copper fans recharge my implants. But thank you. Probably helps other people. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you, Charles. Next person in line for questions.
Yes.
Hi. Hello?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, my name is AJ. I'm from New York, and I just want to tell Anna that I'm very thankful for her bravery. I'm very, appreciative for what she's doing, and to always keep God first in everything that she does, because it's not easy being a woman, definitely in this battle. Is definitely not easy because it seems like they target us more, and especially a strong-headed woman that is determined. I am definitely determined. I've literally, when you say, I usually watch your gavel thing most of the time. Sometimes I'm just so busy with doing other things. I've been literally a one-woman protest. I haven't been out lately because I've been under a lot of they've been draining my energy, and I need a little energy to go out there and have my signs and trying to make people aware of what's going on in the neighborhood and wherever I go. And so it is definitely important to know that not to be fearful. I know that I've been in with this. They literally try to scare me. At first, it did work because I had no idea there was such technology existed. So it made me fearful. But then when I put that fearfulness away and started, accepted God back into my life, everything changed. They tried to threaten me with put me in the mental ward 3 times and tried to forcefully medicate me. But through my prayer and through my belief and standing strong and not allowing them to say, well, if you don't do this, we're going to medicate you and you're never going to get out. This is what the things that they were telling me in the mental ward, and I refused. When I saw the judge, I fired. The key is firing the lawyer, because the lawyer works within the hospital, and he was literally begging me when he saw that I was just standing my ground. He was like, just take a little of the medication. And I refused. And when I fired him and began to speak for myself, they had to release me. And through the sheriff, this is another thing that they do. They do something called a mental hygiene warrant, and they have people, they use your family that most of the time they scare to death to say that you are mentally ill and you're a danger and a threat to yourself. And so the sheriff comes out and they literally take you out of your home and they take you to the court, or they take you to, which in my case, they took me to the court. The first time they took me to their cell in the sheriff's department, where they tortured me and when I did that, I was already ill from food that I had the following night. And so my blood pressure was up. I couldn't really focus. And the whole time, that's when I did, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you hearing my conversation? Hello?
Well, I am.
Hello?
Do you have a question? Do you have a question for Ana Toledo?
Yeah. Well, my question is, with all of that, does she think, being that it was the health department that put out that there were a lot of people being falsely diagnosed with different things, does she think that could be another route that she can go, where people are complaining about being forced to take psychiatric drugs and forced with a fake mental illness to cover up these crimes of this, what do you call it, illegal surveillance program?
No, I don't want to touch that because we know it's happening, but we are trying to precisely steer away from the allegation that this is delusional and fantastical. So, I wouldn't go there right now. I want to, one thing is the illegal surveillance, the illegal watch list, the illegal list that the Threat Screening Center has of people that meet no reasonable criteria for any crime. That's what we're going to concentrate in. These mental assessments, it's pretty much a state problem because it varies from state to state. We know that Florida and other places, they can just take you and that's it. In other places, they need to take you in front of a judge. It's a case by case, it's a state by state situation. That is not something that people in Congress can rule on, can legislate on, because that is a state issue. People really need to get active and talk to your local politicians and tell them how this is being abused against people that are the victims of government weaponization. That's what I urge you to do, to organize people.
That's what I did. I actually did.
Okay.
I actually did do that. And that's when they helped to try to set me up. But like I said, it never worked. So I'm still trying to, get people together to, like when I was in there were people telling me what they've been through, and I would try to convince them that the way to do this is not to be afraid, but to speak out against it. And they were literally afraid, like most people are. They don't want, like you said in your video when you were out there protesting at the FBI thing, you said that people, when you tried to hand them a flyer, they were so afraid to even touch the flyer. This is how most people are, They're like, oh, my God, no, I don't want to, anything to do with this, So it's not easy.
Yeah, people, they don't want to hear.
But we still have to stay, right. We still have to be determined to keep on. That's my point. To keep on and not to be fearful.
Richard, an FBI guy asked Richard the second day that they were protesting, he says, that woman, Ana Toledo, she's not coming today. Richard said he had sheer terror in his face. Yeah, I'm glad. Okay, continue.
That's great. Next question for Ana Toledo. I heard a gentleman out there asking next.
Yeah, thank you, DJ Chris, and thank you very much, Ana
Go
Toledo.
ahead.
This is Alan from Salem, Oregon, and I was just wondering, if we're to send you, like, is it best to do the send to go, or the targeted justice, just like monies?
Either way, the gifts and go has been working. In the beginning, the criminals were jacking with it. But now they're, since I have made so many complaints to them, and I say, please detect the IP, where it's coming from, who is doing the attack. Well, it seems that it's working now good. Yeah. Either way.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you.
Next question for Ana Toledo. Come on in.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Come on in. What's your question?
I have a question, Anna. Are you still looking for individuals who have been the affidavits for AHS?
Well, if you can send it to me, because I'm gonna continue meeting with people. So if the more people I have, the better. But you have to have been diagnosed. I don't want people doing a statement under penalty of perjury if you don't have a real diagnosis from a medical doctor, because then you will perjure yourself. So, you know, that's the important thing, that you have an actual, you don't have to send me the papers, just send me the sworn statement, but make sure, because one of the things that we wrote in there is I am willing to testify before Congress regarding my diagnosis and my injuries. So I have, you know, people need to understand that this is a very serious matter. If you haven't been diagnosed, only a doctor can diagnose you. I know, look, I know I have Havana syndrome. I know it. I even forgot what I had for breakfast this morning, okay? But I have not been diagnosed. So I cannot sign a statement under penalty of perjury saying I have Havana syndrome, because I don't have a diagnosis.
Okay, and then my next question, have you met with any Congress people from Texas?
No, no, and I would like to. I had tried Croning, and he's a complete CIA asset. And Ted Cruz is along the same lines. Okay. So I really want to meet with the one that did, the representative that did the impeachment articles on Boasberg. He's one of the ones that I want to meet with because he gets it. I think he gets it. He's one of them. So just look into your in what district are you in? Do you know who you're representing?
I think I'm in Boasberg.
And that guy, the guy that impeached wrote the articles of impeachment for Boasberg?
Yes.
Well, Gil Brandon Gill.
Yes.
Oh, he is amazing. I definitely want to meet with him. Let me just tell you all this. You know, the Boasberg impeachment is so important because people think, oh no, it's about the senators. No, Boasberg was the chief judge when the biggest abuse of the FISA court, that they allowed FBI to look through 278,000 people, Americans, through the FISA court and surveil, and it was all under Boasberg. So I'm going to go in there and make my little flyers. I'm going to go in there and say, you have to investigate. It's not just about the senators. So this is why this is so important, because it is about all of us. This is how they got to spy on us with those bogus FISA warrants. And after Boasberg is impeached, there will be a lot of information uncovered about this criminal FISA court. And I say
Incredible.
criminal. I say criminal because it is atrociously violating Americans' Fourth Amendment rights without criminal predicate, without probable cause. Oh, yeah, the statute allows them. Yeah, but here's the problem. They have an oath of office, and they have FBI agents that ask for the same FISA warrant 10 times for the same person. And they don't bother to ask them, wait a minute, how many times have you asked me for a FISA warrant for this person? How come you haven't arrested them yet? No, I'm not going to give it to you anymore, because clearly this person doesn't meet any terrorist criteria. And that is where the high crimes and misdemeanors come in, when they violate their oath of office by not even asking minimal questions regarding the violation of the Fourth Amendment guarantees of law-abiding Americans.
Okay, next question for Ana Toledo. Come on in.
Hi, Anna. I just have a question about the fine line between non-consent research and the surveillance.
Your volume is extremely high, by the way.
The fine line between surveillance and what?
Non-consent research.
So what's your question?
Can you hear me? Non-consent research.
Your volume is extremely loud. You're distorting, sir.
Okay, let me see if I can. Does that sound better?
Not really, but keep going.
Okay, non-consent research.
You mean like data harvesting from people? Is that what you're talking about?
All right. Sorry.
Next question in line for Ana Toledo before we end this interview.
Yeah, I have a question. The problem with getting diagnosed with Havana syndrome, which is, I don't know of any insurance company. I mean, that's why I didn't get diagnosed with it, because the insurance company doesn't recognize it. Are you doing anything to work on that to make it easier for us to get a diagnosis?
Yeah, well, you probably weren't here earlier when I said that one of the initiatives that we have is a petition to the NIH asking that they recognize Havana syndrome incidents in civilians, and they issue guidance to physicians across the nation so that they can diagnose and treat Havana syndrome patients. That is one of the things that we are working on. I'm working with Dr. Landell Bear, with that.
So, but, I mean, the insurance company is the one that has to agree, no? I mean, to
no,
recognize
it? No, NIH has to recognize it as a condition, and then issue guidance and issue a diagnostic guidance. Once the NIH does that, then the insurance companies have to deal with it.
Okay, great. Are the NIH doing any more trials or anything lately, or they just let it go?
Well, that's what we're working on, making them do something.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get them to do.
Yeah, and the NIH is in D.C. Yeah, thank you, Brian. The NIH is in D.C., so she has physical contact.
Yeah, it's in Maryland.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Boy, a lot of questions tonight. Next question for Ana Toledo. Come on in. And I think that completes the interview. Thank you, Ana Toledo. What a great interview. That was super duper.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. I like it. Thank you so much.
We're very supportive of you. You know that. Very supportive of your work and your targeted justice as an organization. So TargetedWest supports targeted justice, always have and always will, and we won't change from that. And we're going to fight with you to make this all go away. With whatever I can do as a digital warrior and get the word out, I'm going to do it. And we're all going to help you. And please contact Anna if you want her to represent your area. Please do that if you're watching us on your favorite platform. Like, subscribe, and please make a comment. Thank you. And let's go ahead into the book club. The book club tonight is Black 9/11, Money, Motive, and Technology by Mark Gaffney. It's another 9/11 book. If you already know the basic story of it, it's not going to be anything new. I give it an 8 because if it's your first book on 9/11, it's a good one to read. And so that's our book of the week. We're going to end this recording now and let people have the open mic platform. Thank you for watching on your favorite platform.